So for your icebreaker question this week, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to play a video clip here that identifies a person, and your job is to figure out who the person is. So watch the video and identify the person, and then talk about why you remember who it is, or if you don't remember who it is, and nobody in the room remembers who it is, maybe you can Google it and figure it out from there. So have fun with this. When you're ready to dive into the scriptures, go ahead and press play.
You'll never regret the purchase of a good stock.
You don't say.
Yeah, my broker says it's a real good buy. What does your broker say?
Well, my broker and says
when people speak, people listen.
Great shot, Tom. That should do it for you.
Thank you.
What are you going to do with all those winnings?
Well, my broker's and he says.
When people speak, people listen.
So did you figure out who it was? E.F. Hutton. That's the name that you're looking for if you didn't find it or Google it or remember it. But the commercial that I showed you is one of many that were wildly popular and really quite effective marketing back in the day, because we remembered the name, and it encouraged us to buy their product, which was to invest financially with them. The reality is that in any age, in any era, we have people that we are willing to listen to, people that we are willing to trust, depending on the area of life that we're looking at. It's a beautiful day today, and it's been really rainy for a while, so I'm working on my mower right now. Last night we mowed the grass just to knock things down because it had gotten so long from all of the rain, and in 1 week it had just grown really fast. So we knocked it. We did some mowing. I worked on the weed eater and realized that I need to clean up the mower deck and to sharpen the blades and stuff. So I'm working on that today so we can do another round. Last night I tried to get the weed eater working, and I couldn't get it to work. It started just fine, but whenever I would pull the trigger, it would try to stall. So I found myself going out and hitting videos on the internet of people who make these videos in their garage and things like that, giving different possibilities for my weed eater. And sure enough, it was some stuff with the carburetor, and I got it all cleaned up and working by the end of the evening. But I turned to someone for help. I turned to them for wisdom. So the scriptures that I've given you are ones about Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and God spoke to them, but then they had other voices that came and spoke to them. And I just want you to talk about the other voices that you are willing to listen to, that you do listen to in this life. I like mowing the lawn. I like using the string trimmer to clean up around. And really, for as long as I can remember, I always have. I even like working on the tractor and working on the string trimmer and maintaining it and getting it to work when it wasn't working before. When I was younger, I liked doing it because I could, because it was something I could learn and I could work on and do with my hands. I like doing it because it saved me money, and I didn't have to go and buy new equipment. But back then, I also had problems where I would get angry. I have a toolbox that still reminds me to this day of a time where I threw a hammer across the yard and hit the toolbox and smashed it. I didn't enjoy time alone with God. But now I do. It's a completely different situation for me now. I work on the tractor, I work on the string trimmer when I mow. I don't get angry anymore. I don't struggle as I think about my day at work or get upset because a bolt won't break loose. I just spend the time with God. I uh, I enjoy it as a prayer time, and while I'm talking with God, I work on the tractor, and while I talk with God, I work on the string trimmer, and while I talk with God, I do the weeding, and while I talk with God, I do the mowing. You see, I still turn to people for help and watch videos when it comes to maintaining a piece of equipment, but the reality is that I know that there is a limit to what I turn to them for in terms of wisdom. When I really want wisdom, I turn to God. I read the scriptures. I spend time in prayer. I ask God for that wisdom. Because you see, when people speak, people do listen. But when God speaks, wise people listen. And I want to be a man who is wise. Not the wisdom of this world, but the wisdom that comes from God. So as you go into these last scriptures, there's only 2 sections this week besides the icebreaker. Take the time to start turning to God for wisdom. Start looking to God to lead you, to give you peace in all circumstances. Because we have plenty of circumstances that try to make us afraid or angry. But God is the giver of peace. And as you do that, do it together with each other. Even if it's just one other person. Jesus said, whenever 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I am in their midst. Gather together with somebody else. Talk about these discussion questions with somebody else. And take the time to pray with somebody else. Because there is great power in drawing near to God in prayer. Know that I'm praying for you, that I'm asking God to lead you into wisdom, wisdom that comes from His Word and His Spirit. Ask you to pray for me as well, that I will become more and more a man who is wise with the wisdom of God. God bless.